And welcome to the talk show, Let the Truth Be Told. I'm your host, Pastor David. And folks, we got a great show. It's a Friday day and it's a sunny day here in Georgia. And we got a lot of information that we're going to put out there today. So we got a great show. So if you ain't got nothing to do, call your friends and let them know you're listening to Let the Truth Be Told Radio. I'm your host, Pastor David. Y'all come on in. And welcome to the talk show, Let the Truth Be Told. I'm your host, Pastor David. And first, let me give all praises to my Lord and Savior, Yahusha, and Yahuwah, that's God in Hebrew. Well, folks, the game is on. Now, all of a sudden, Chicago is about to lose the Bears to Indiana. Now, is this a ploy or a threat? I don't know. We have to check it out, and we're going to talk about that. But we have to really take a look at the Brandon Johnson leadership. To the people of Chicago, how is it that the Bears is name brand synonymous with the city of Chicago? How do you be a mayor and allow the team of Chicago to be even considering another location, and they're talking about Hammond, Indiana? Well, this only goes to show you and prove to Chicagoans that Brandon Johnson is not a good leader. But I can say this, and listen to me closely, Chicago. Brandon Johnson is doing exactly what he led and was told to do. He's following his mission by the script. And his mission, just like others who have been in office, like Lori Lightfoot, her mission was to be there to introduce the LGBT to the state and force it on us. Barack Obama's mission was to embed them into different places. So Brandon's mission is to completely destroy the city of Chicago, to break it. And most of the people that he is going to affect, it's going to be black people. Because, see, they wanted the migrants here so that the migrants could take over the black community, thus run black people out of the communities that they've been in there forever, and then create another projects, government assistance. And then they would be able to rule the citizens of Chicago, especially the black community. So he's doing exactly what his plan was to do, and that's inundated with crime, let the migrants in, the migrants take over the black community, and then they'll create social housing. But this is just another step that we are facing right now in the city of Chicago. But come 2027, we can make this whole thing go away. We'll have a lot of work to do when I take that mayor's office from you, Brandon. You out of there, Brandon. Your own people done abandoned you. You're a total idiot, but you're an idiot in disguise because you're doing exactly what the Democratic Party told you to do. And in saying that, let me get my co-host in. What's up, Mr. Binky?
Morning.
Oh,
What's up, Doc? Oh, there you go.
Hi. I was like, I had my camera off. Sorry, y'all. Had to get some tea. My
Listen,
word. I've
listen,
been
guys.
online since,
Now, I looked at what's going on in Chicago, and I want to get your thoughts before I play this first clip. But I think that this could be a threat for Chicago to get what they want on a political playing field. What's your thoughts, Doc?
I mean, they've been playing with the political football literally since last year, because my husband and I, we were traveling. We actually did travel to Chicago to see the game there. We were also seeing family as well. And I was like, they're not going to leave Chicago. Right. And they're still, and if it's a threat, fine. But here's the thing. If they do stay, even if Brandon leaves, because of the way they've set up the tax structure, it is hurting the business, right?
Mhm.
Because it's hurting the people that work for the business. It's hurting the other restaurants. It's hurting the actual blood and sweat and tears that makes Chicago run. So if you run off the restaurants, and I've got a stadium, I don't have any foot traffic, right?
Yes.
Because you taxed everybody into oblivion. But if I go just right over here, and it's not going to put people out to drive right over the border to still see the Chicago Bears play, and there's going to be tax breaks, and they have a better structure going on in Indiana. What is there to lose, right? I know they're trying to force their hand so they stay in Chicago, but I think it's a good chance they might actually go over to Indiana, because Indiana does not have a professional football team. They got IU, who just won national championship, by the way, but they do not have pro teams there.
Yes.
So it's going to be very interesting to see.
Your thought, Mr. Binky?
Yeah. Well,
Oh no, I forgot. They do have the Indianapolis Colts, but I'm talking about up north.
yeah.
Good.
Yeah. To me, it's nothing. It's not sports no more. It's about money. It's about who's going to make and who's not. If the city lets Chicago Bears go, they're going to lose tax revenue. If the Bears decide to stay and the city don't want to work with the Bears, then the Bears is going to lose money. It's a money game today, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't. Back when I was a kid, I was a Dallas Cowboy fan. I
A lot of people were.
When I seen Ditka playing, I'm like, I'm never a Bear fan. Never. He was about the dirtiest player out there. He even bragged about dirt.
That man could yell and chew gum at the same time, though. He could.
Yeah.
It's great.
And so, but back then it was football, and back then it wasn't about money. I mean, Johnny Unitas and Bart Starr and all them guys, they were lucky to make $5,000 a game.
They loved the game.
Yeah, they loved it. They went out there and got broken bones.
Yes.
I watched the game where Unitas got a broken leg from the Bears. So, or maybe it was Washington Redskins. I can't remember. But
well, I had an opportunity to play my coach with the Quad City Blackhawks. It was a semi-pro team that I played with before I got with the Blitz. That was Coach Jim Hester. He was a tight end for the Bears 3 years, and then he went to New Orleans where he retired. And so he was my coach in this AAA team. And, I had an opportunity to meet Mike Dick. I met a lot of the other players during the strike time when we went up to, replace them, man. And so, man, Chicago Bears is synonymous, and so, but they put them in a position. I'm going to play this clip and then we'll talk about it.
The ball in overtime, but it's not across the goal line yet. But the Bears say their focus is Hammond now, as legislation in the Hoosier State to finance and own a new stadium cleared a major hurdle. The bill passed out of the House Ways and Means Committee there. It would set up a public stadium authority to pay for the upfront costs and have the Bears pay rent and then keep the revenue. The Bears would then have the ability to own the stadium outright one day. And in a statement today, the Bears said, quote, the passage of Senate Bill 27 would mark the most meaningful step forward in our stadium planning efforts to date. We're committed to finishing the remaining site-specific necessary due diligence to support our vision to build a world-class stadium near the Wolf Lake area in Hammond, Indiana. Now, Indiana House Speaker Representative Houston said he wanted a commitment from the Bears before pushing the bill forward. And today, apparently, he liked what he heard.
This is a transformational investment into something we do better than any other state in the country. And if you talk to people in this industry, they will tell you we are the best state in the country for hosting people. Now we're giving ourselves in a different area of the state an incredible venue to do just that with a phenomenal partner in the Chicago Bears.
So from the Hoosier State now to the land of Lincoln, it all comes as Illinois lawmakers say they were blindsided. They had a 3-hour meeting with the team yesterday, and they said that they came to nearly an agreement to give them, quote, tax certainty to build in Arlington Heights. In fact, they were scheduled to have a hearing on the legislation in the Capitol in Springfield today, but lawmakers say it was the Bears that canceled it, and CEO Kevin Warren was a no-show.
We completed more than 3 hours, my team did, of discussions with the Bears. Very positive discussions, and indeed mostly agreed on a bill that would move forward this morning. But they asked us not to move forward with it this morning because they said they wanted to tweak a couple of items in the bill, which were things that we were working with them on. And so to have a statement put out by the Bears, now they're saying to us that that statement is not some confirmation that they're moving to Indiana, but rather that Indiana had asked them to say that, you know, they're going to move forward with the negotiations in Indiana.
All right, guys.
Who's lying? Somebody's lying.
Let me say this. They done already made the decision to really consider Indiana. That's what they've already done.
Yeah,
What you think about?
Well, you know, here's the thing. Hammond and Gary, that area is crime ridden. And my bigger question is, are you actually going to look into building up that community, right? And hiring people in the community? Or are you going to influx in a whole different community on top of these people in a crime-ridden area that nobody wants to go to? When you say Gary, Indiana, people are like, I ain't going there.
Yes.
I'm not trying to get my car hijacked. I am not trying to die today. No, it is Beirut. Okay. And you're going to move there. You're going to move. Stop. Again, this is a money negotiation. Put a pin in it. Everybody. I don't think they're leaving Chicago to go to Gary. I thought.
What do you think, Mickey, with the move? What you think, Bank?
Well, if I had to base anything off of what the Weight Watcher reject said,
You said a Weight Watcher reject, yeah.
he opened his mouth up, and anything that come out of his mouth is nothing but a lie. So you know, I kind of think that, well, if anything, I'll put it this way. If Hammond's being considered by the team, they're sure putting out the insinuation that they're going to go there, and you know, I think Pigster's going to. They're going
bend over backwards.
They're going, They're going to pay.
Because see, the one thing that they don't have for Hammond is they don't have a rendering.
Oh.
If you noticed, the rendering that you saw was for Illinois. That was not for Indiana. So they want to build a new stadium somewhere.
Right. They're in Arlington.
But
they want to do it in Arlington Heights. That's what it's at, Arlington Heights. Indiana
does not have a rendering.
But you know what's
you don't have a rendering, but y'all are talking. Yeah, I just don't see it. I don't see it.
Well, but you know, just think about it though. What Indiana is offering is a lot because they said that they can pay the rent and keep all the profits that they make. Then
helping the community.
But then on top of that, they still will be able to own the station down the stadium down the road. So, but just think if they did do that, then they're gonna have to build out those areas, and so those people can get jobs and all of that. So, but it's
it's not self-preserving because the people of Indiana, it's like, okay, you're just gonna sell out an entire community and not negotiate for them. You're just gonna give the Bears carte blanche, everything they want, but you're not on the back end saying, okay, we will need you to hire the people that are there to build up this community. That's how I know it's a false equivalency. I don't see them moving.
But they got JB. Wait a minute. They got JB jumping though. JB jumping. Well, they did. And they canceled the meeting.
but you know, they,
Did they?
yeah.
But the think of it is, just think about this. J.B. Pritzker has probably been the worst, most corrupt, money-stealing governor of all time. He ain't been to jail. He stole more money than Thompson and everybody else. Gorovich, all of them put together, and he's still in office, and he deserves to be in prison.
Hey, Dave.
Even though he's been over to Epstein Island every other week.
Hey, Dave, who was on? You remember Blago? He got put in prison for a phone call.
Right, for a phone call. Yep, he did.
Who was on the other end of that phone call?
J.B. Pritzker.
Oh, wow.
Exactly.
When you got money, you have prominence. Money keeps you out of jail.
Yeah, well, Mike Madigan, because J.B. Pritzker, this is why I say how the Stockholm Syndrome has affected the people in the state of Illinois. When J.B. Pritzker can be on the phone and talk about the black leaders like he did. He talked about Roland Burrs. He talked about some of the aldermen and said that they wasn't crap and all this and that, called them names, those black blah, blah, blah. He even talked about Secretary of State Jesse White like a dog. So, but they still support him. So that's why I say black people, especially black politicians in the state of Illinois, because they got the super majority here, you know, those Negroes got that Stockholm Syndrome because no, they don't. They don't have that because that's their mission. Their mission is to do whatever they need to do to kiss anybody's butt to get that money and continue to destroy the state of Illinois so it could be government ran. That's all I think it is. So guys, I pulled down some other footage. Now, I want to shift gears a little bit. That's enough of the Bears. But I want to talk about Brandon Johnson. See, Brandon, I cut a segment out for you today. I wanted to discuss what your colleagues are saying. See, his colleagues now, when Brandon was running for office, he had Tony Prackwinkle in his pocket, Cook County commissioner, president, and he had all these people. These people was putting Brandon on a pedestal, and now it's time for them to be elected. It's time for Prackwinkle's election, right? It's time for her to go before the voters now. And her record for the voters have been horrible, and people are looking for alternatives. Tony Prackwinkle, I haven't kicked on you, but I'm kicking you today. She has been the one who has raised the county taxes up above, pocketed a lot of money. So I want to play because a couple of reporters had her on the hot seat. And Brandon, you need to see what your colleagues that voted for you said about you in this interview.
A county board commissioner and then endorsed him to run for mayor. Would you endorse him for a second term?
You know, I'm focused on the county board race. And, you know, I think that Brendan Riley, if he's running for this job, ought to be focused on the county board race, too.
I am.
You know, he can talk about Mayor Johnson all he wants. This is the county. This is Cook County.
You brought us Brandon Johnson.
Cook County. And, you know, I'm focused on trying to do the best I can for the residents of Cook County. And the mayoral race is in 2027. I'm focused on 2026.
Well, how do you evaluate his term? I mean, Cook County and Chicago work together.
I try to stay in my own lane. And let me just say, it's my job as county board president to work with the governor, to work with the Speaker of the House, to work with the President of the Senate. By the way, all of those folks have endorsed me for re-election. The governor, the President of the Senate, the Speaker.
Now, Doc, you see what I mean? She begged for Brandon Johnson to become the mayor. And now he's done such a horrible job.
She's trying to gently separate herself. Just look gently. Just move my chair on the other side of the table because I'm focused on the county. Wait a minute. I have to work with everybody. What are you talking about?
Exactly. That's the. What do you think about that, Bink? Because she's really jaw-jacking it right now. She's on the spot.
Well, if I lived in Cook County and her saying that she's worried about people in Cook County, she just wrote her own death note right there. I mean, what's she bragging about? Cook County is horrible.
Yeah,
exactly.
So she's part of the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
the House, and the mayor of the city of Chicago. When Rahm Emanuel was mayor of the city of Chicago, I worked with him.
You barely spoke to him.
When he was mayor of the city of Chicago, I worked with him. And actually, when we came into office, we created a joint task force to look at ways that the city and the county could cooperate. And we did thereafter. When Lori Lightfoot was mayor, I worked with Lori Lightfoot. When we faced a once-a-century pandemic,
Lori
the
Lightfoot,
governor, the
and they
mayor,
both
and
gay.
I worked together. And the governor and the mayor and I are working together now around violence. We have
The white paper
resources.
that they
we have
worked on
resources.
together
We
has
have
been
resources.
sitting on
I'm
a
gonna
shelf
fi-
since it was
We
written.
have resources.
Did nothing with it.
No,
Mayor
that's not
Lightfoot
true.
and-
No,
that's
Mayor
not true.
Emanuel and Tony
No,
Preckwinkle.
one of the things that came out of it was a combination of some of our purchasing was joint, and the combination of our workforce initiatives, for
99%
example.
of the recommendations are sitting on a
Workforce
shelf.
initiatives came out of that. But as I was saying, I have worked with whoever sat in the mayor's office and collaborated with them because that's what's in the interest
But
of
Paris,
the people of Cook County.
But Paris,
That's what's
to
in the
your
interest of the
question,
people of Cook County.
President Preckwinkle brought us Brandon Johnson. And she didn't answer your question when you asked her what kind of job he's doing at the city. I can tell you he's done a horrendous job. And we have him in part because Tony Preckwinkle brought him to us. Brought him up from political obscurity, put him on the county board, and then he ran for mayor with her full support. And congratulations, Tony, for getting his endorsement last week. Getting endorsed by this kind of failure is not an endorsement that I would want.
The people of the city of Chicago elected Brandon Johnson mayor, and they decide whether or not he should continue in that office. I stay in my lane and try to do my job.
Well, you didn't stay in your
as
lane when you
executive.
endorsed him for mayor.
I stay in my job as executive,
Yeah.
and
I wish you'd
work
stayed in
as
your lane
county
when you
board
endorsed
and work
Mayor
as county
Johnson.
board president.
It
Well,
hasn't
let me
worked
ask
well
you,
for us.
the issue of property tax hikes came up, the county's portion of the property tax. The president here mentioned she has not raised property taxes. The pension funding situation in Cook County government is better than probably every major local government, state, city. Do you give her credit for responsible financial stewardship?
Yeah, I'm not
up to
here.
the point of Tyler Technology.
Look, I'm not here to indict Tony on everything she's done in her 15 years at the county and her 40 years in politics. Little known fact, when she ran for county board president initially, I supported her. She came to me and asked for my help, and I gave it to her. But the Tony Preckwinkle we have today is nothing like the one who ran for that office 15 years ago as a reformer against the machine. What's that Who song? Meet the new boss, same as the old boss? Here you have it. And so congratulations for not raising property taxes at Cook County. You certainly did when you were an alderman at City Hall. But beyond that, this Tyler Technologies fiasco is going to result in a property tax increase in the suburbs when those school districts need to go and replace that lost revenue because she couldn't get the tax bills out on time. So that is a tax increase. It's coming our way. Congratulations. That is a gift to you in the future.
No increase has been
from Tony
proposed. Yeah,
Preckwinkle.
No increase has been proposed, and for 15 years,
There shouldn't
we
be
have
one.
not raised property taxes,
And there shouldn't be
nor
one.
have we raised any taxes
But,
in the last 9
Well,
years.
but let's
we
talk-
haven't raised any taxes in the last 9 years in our budget.
Well, since
And
you mentioned taxes-
our pension is in such great shape because we went to Springfield and got permission to contribute more than the statutory requirement so that we could meet our pension obligations. And our pensions in Cook County are funded twice as well as the city of Chicago's pensions.
You know what,
He's
Paris?
not talking about pensions in the city
She
of
got
Chicago
very
because
creative
they're
in talking
very,
about how long it's been
very
since she raised
difficult
taxes.
shapes.
It's not through the duration of her term. It's in the last 9 years.
9
I remember when I
years.
supported her for
9
county
years we haven't
president,
raised
when she
taxes.
first ran
9
for
years.
office, she ran against Todd Stroger's county sales tax. She promised to repeal it. And then within months, years, she went and reimposed that sales tax.
And you know what we did
she
with the
literally
money for the
lied
sales tax?
to voters. She
No,
said,
you know what we did
ran
with
an
that money?
entire
We did not-
campaign.
we
a
did
penny
not use the
saved,
money for
a penny
operations.
saved is
We
a
did
penny
not
earned.
use
I
the money
remember
for
the commercial.
operations.
Wait a
Okay.
minute. You didn't use the money. Wait a minute. Let's get back to the fact that first of all, he's trying to kind of help you.
Yeah, he
And
is.
you just rightfully admitted, well, we used the money. What do you mean you used the money? What? Ma'am.
She
It's
double
people like
talking.
her that need to be out of office. It's people like that that need
Let's
to
finish
know.
the last portion off. It's pretty good.
Money to
Oh my
meet our pension obligations
but you lied.
and to invest in infrastructure.
You lied to
No,
taxpayers.
I said we were going
You
to
did.
eliminate the tax, and we did.
No.
We didn't use it for
And then,
operations. We
speaking of
trimmed
taxes,
county government. We trimmed
the
county
soda
government.
remember the soda
and
tax?
As a result of our trimming
remember
of
the
county
soda
government,
tax, Tony?
when we reinstituted the sales tax, we could use it
Right.
to meet our pension
Well, them damn
obligations and
Democrats
to
get
invest in
long-winded,
infrastructure.
don't
Campaigned
they?
against
Not-
it, and then you
not-
reimposed it.
Not
You used
operations.
it as a
Yeah.
tool
We
to
used
get
it to meet our
reelected,
pension
and then you
obligations.
changed your
We
tune
used
after
it
you won
to
the
meet our
office.
pension
Sounds
obligations.
familiar? Now Tyler Technologies is fixed miraculously 30 days before the election.
I
Your
just
thought.
don't know how you go to right.
I think you're right.
Okay. Like, how do you go from we didn't put the tax in place, but this is how we use the money? Ma'am, you can't use money that you don't collect. Either you put the tax in place or you didn't, and you
But-
lied to
Yes.
your constituents to get into
Yes.
office.
Yes,
and
she
we're going
did.
to continue to lie to get into office. This is what this other gentleman is trying to bring up to the general public. This person sitting right next to me does not care about you. And it's interesting because this is what Democrats do. They think, okay, if I
Yes.
just use the old playbook, people will just believe us. And we can call you a racist, and we can do all of these things to make you look bad, even though we've really destroyed everything over here. Because just because they put in
Yes.
that sales tax to raise property taxes, to do everything, to
And
collect
then,
all
then,
this stuff,
then
the
Doc,
check
think about this.
companies do,
Think
and they
about
will
this,
take it
guys.
right out of the people. They will take it right out of the people.
He
like my
lied
mother-
so hard right there when he said, well, did we got rid of the soda tax? He said you did, but then once you got elected, you brought it back. So
And then
what
she goes,
happened?
but we
Money.
moved but we used the money this way. Wait a minute. You stop that.
The soda tax probably still intact, but people don't know that they're paying for it.
Because she said that's how we use the money, but
Money.
we use the money this way. And that's the thing. I was like, ma'am, he's trying to maybe save you, maybe rescue you, but he can't because you
What
keep
you think,
talking out
babe?
of both sides of your face.
What you think, Blake? Your thoughts?
It's just like Doc said, it's saying one thing that done another, and like you said, long-winded. She, anytime he brought something up, she just kept talking over him and over, and that's typical Democrat.
Yeah.
All Democrats do that. When you strike that nerve
Yes.
with them, man, you just opened up that vocabulary to no end. Because they don't want you to interject the truth. They don't want
Exactly, Bing. That's exactly what I mean. And I'm doing it because I want the American people and patriots across this country to see what we're dealing with. The Democratic Party is on its last legs. It is doing so much right now because they know that when the Save America Act is passed, it's over. There will be no more balloting, mail-in ballots. You're going to have the ID to prove that you're a citizen. Y'all might as well go back home because they're going to cut that money off right away. I got a clip I want to play, and we're going to play a clip from President Trump at the Black History Month event in a few seconds. But I want to give the people an update on the SAVE Act.
Very well nationally. Even the majority of Democrat voters want it.
Right.
So why do you think Senate Democrats are resisting the SAVE Act? And what is your strategy and realistic pathway to getting the SAVE Act passed to ensure free and fair elections for the next generation?
It's such a great question. I appreciate it, actually, because it's called the Save America Act. We've changed the name. It's the Save America Act, and the Democrats are against it. I heard one of them say, we will stop the Save America Act. No, we're trying to save America. And it has to do with largely voting. And basically, it's got three very simple points. It's got voter ID, photo ID, but voter ID with a photo, right? It's got the confirmation of U.S. citizenship. You have to be a citizen. So you have a vote, you have an ID. That's about a 99% one. And I think 90% with Democrats. Then you have confirmation U.S. citizenship. That's about a 99% one with Republicans, about 86% with Democrats, except Democrat politicians because they cheat on elections. And then you have no mail-in ballots. And there would be no mail-in ballots, very important. You know, we're the only country in the world that does a system like we do. We're the only country in the world that has mail-in ballots. The way we do this is unbelievable. It guarantees cheating. So it's no mail-in ballots with the exception of disability, illness, military, or if you're traveling, you can get an exemption. You know, if you happen to be out of the country for a good reason, you can have an exemption. So with exceptions, it's no mail-in ballots, and that will assure the security of our crooked elections. We have crooked elections, yeah.
Mr. President, have you fired or disciplined that staffer who posted the video from your account that included the Obamas?
No, I haven't. That was a video on, as you know, voter fraud, and fairly long video, and they had a little piece and had to do with the Lion King. It's been very well, it's been shown all over the place long before that was posted. But that was a very strong, and I'm sure you saw it, a very strong piece on voter fraud. And the piece that you're talking about was all over the place many times, I believe for years. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, were you aware that Secretary of Commerce visited Epstein's Island, and do you continue to have...
No, I wasn't aware of it. No, I didn't. I actually haven't spoken to him about it. I wasn't. But from what I hear, he was there with his wife and children. And I guess in some cases, some people were. I wasn't. I was never there. Somebody will someday say that.
Doc,
Yeah,
your
we can
thoughts
say
on
that because I actually went through the documents. I went through Grok. I did my research.
Did
He's
you?
mentioned several times because he was an FBI informant.
Yes, I was just going to say that.
And
Trump-
that is why he is mentioned several times in the document. And this is pre, not post, pre Epstein going to prison in 2009. Anybody can look up that information online. There, he is involved in no nefarious activity. The plane that he took, he used his plane to go to different places, not to the island. And the logs show that. Now, say
Go
that.
ahead. Yes.
Let's talk about it. Look, the Democrats are upset because their people that they have here illegally, they can't get the voter ID because even if they have a birth certificate, they have to have a certificate of naturalization. As you heard the president, you have to prove that you are a U.S. citizen. And if because I'm an American, that can be my birth certificate, right? Yeah. Is my maiden name going to be on my birth certificate? Do I have a married? Yes. So then I need to just show my marriage license because that will show my name change. I need people to stop crashing out. Stop telling Black people that they're not smart enough to have ID. Stop telling everybody else that, oh my gosh, and please stop telling women.
But you know,
that we are not smart enough to do this. It is insane. Just say you want to cheat. Just say it.
What do you think, Big, about that? Because the SAVE Act is going to really narrow it down because once this is instituted, because it's going to get passed, because the American people wants it. Once it get passed, the Democrats are just going to slowly fizzle. They're going to melt down big time because now with sure elections, they won't have no needs for the migrants. They're going to end up telling them they better go home. What do you think, Bink?
Well, I know a lot of people don't read the Constitution or anything like that, but I'll point this out. The 15th and 26th Amendment says the right of the citizens of the United States shall not be denied or abridged. That's in the 15th Amendment. The 26th Amendment, the right of the citizens who are 18 and older shall not be denied the voting. And in both of them, it even says that Congress shall have the power to enforce these articles with proper legislation. So if we're that stupid, and I'm going to put it this way, if the Democrats are that stupid to understand it even says in the Constitution that the citizens have the right to vote, then what is the argument over an ID? And another thing I'd ask the Democrats, why is it that you have to show your IDs when you go in to do your job?
Exactly.
You got to show who you are. No matter what you do, you've got to have an ID to do whatever. So if the Constitution tells you the citizens, then what do you need? You got to have your hand held or what? If you need your hand held, you don't belong to be in there with power. That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Like I said, you want to cheat. Just say it. Just say it.
But you know the thing of it is, and this is why I say it shows like ours are very important. The numbers are going out of the roof. I've got a opportunity, and I'll talk to you about later on, Doc, out of New York that came about yesterday. But the numbers are going out the roof because people are watching this show and they're doing research, just like you just said. Go down and research what President Trump did. And I want to say this: Black citizens across the country is fed up with the damn Democratic Party. See, what the Democrats did was you rode us so long, you gave nothing back to the Black community, and now the jig is up. There will be no more Black people running around, standing in line, vote for the Democrats. I can guarantee you that. And those few who will be there voting, the numbers are going to be really sparse because the migrants, now that you brought over 20-some million in with Joe Biden, now they won't be able to vote. It's time for them to pick their stuff up and go on back home. Mr. Binky?
I got a couple things here.
Go ahead.
In Georgia, and I believe that's where you guys are at right now, a Senator Ossoff.
Yes, Ossoff. Yes.
Okay. He had an event here recently, and he required an ID for you to go in. Oh,
Absolutely.
and then in Virginia, they were trying to present a bill to prohibit immigration interference and enforcement within 40 feet of an election.
Trying to give him like a restraining order.
Yeah,
saying you can't be in so many feet of this.
Yeah.
They're hilarious.
So let me ask you, what is the purpose of not having to prove an ID? If they're telling you you got to have an ID to come to their event, and they're telling you that they're trying to keep enforcement of immigration away from polling places, what are they admitting?
Everything, because see, Virginia is one of the 19 states that do not require ID when you go to vote.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. They are on the list.
But for us, to the Black community, who is down to almost nothing now, our communities have been destroyed to almost obliterated.
Yeah.
Now, Black people that you can see, it always has been the Democratic Party who did all of this to the schools, to economics. I mean, to crime. When Joe Biden wrote the crime bill, Bill Clinton signed it. Then he did NAFTA and put all the economy out the Black community. It has been the Democratic Party. And I hope Black people can see this finally, that we have to get off the Democratic plantation in the mind. They have no good for us. They just here in Georgia found over 300,000 some voting things that weren't even signed. 315,000 that wasn't even signed. So the corruption of voting is going on across the country. And the Democrats know that they're on their last legs. And this SAVE Act is going to be huge because now you're going to have to prove that you're a citizen. So all the fake IDs and all the fake stuff, that's not going to work now because you're not going to be able to vote.
And in some instances, you can't do this online. You have to show up in person. And so that was the other excuse. Well, what about people that can't get off of work? Look, it's accommodating. You will be able to go on the weekends. There will be places that will accommodate getting this done. They want to cheat.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead, babe.
If you're going to go down and sign up for welfare or unemployment or Social Security, what do you got to do? You have to physically go there.
Yes.
And have to have an ID.
You have to have an ID.
I mean,
you still have to have an ID. It doesn't matter. You got to prove and say who you are.
If not a birth certificate.
Well, you know, this is it's a great bill that's going to be a great law. I'm with the numbers and the people saying they want it. They're going to be forced to do it, and that's the end of the Democratic Party. because from
It
that
is.
point on, they won't be able to cheat. And now all this, now let's think about this. Guys, think with me.
Mhm.
What happened to the fraud case in Minnesota? We ain't heard about that in a couple of weeks. They ain't been talking about that, have they?
They've been deflected from everything else. They are using the FATE model very well. I'm just hands down, because there's so much fraud going on there. Waltz needs to be in prison. Fry
does.
needs to be in prison. And both of them actually had to do depositions for the grand jury. I don't think
Yes.
that anybody really paid attention to that. So Ellison, he lied on Capitol Hill in front of Senator Hawley.
Yes.
They're all going
Yeah.
to prison.
And they should.
They're all going.
They should. And Ilya Omar needs to be the first one. I saw her on TV. This is why I say the Democratic Party is so desperate right now. She's on TV and she sued in court the United States from deporting her.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
Where does she come
That's
up
funny.
with that idea?
She was on TV.
Wait a minute.
yesterday.
Nobody's actually put in denaturalization for her. So how is she preemptively suing to stay here?
That's what she's doing. And she's telling other Somalis, we'll just get him in the court system. That's not going to work.
No,
Well,
it's
let's
not.
just-
You can
let's
be
just-
denaturalized because you've committed fraud, you committed a crime, and even though
Yes.
the crime was not committed during your time of naturalization, it's because of the fraud that you're involved in afterwards. See, people that get naturalized here, they think, oh, I just get treated like a regular citizen. I'll still be able to stay here even if I commit a crime here. It doesn't work like that.
She's trying to
It
do
doesn't work like that for you.
she's trying to do a Biden pardon.
It's
Well,
not
with the
weird.
auto pen, Biden need to be put in prison too.
No. What I'm getting at is she's trying to go there and file a suit against her being deported like Biden did on Hunter Biden. We'll go back 10
Right.
years ago, and if you find
Right.
something of 10 years
Yes,
ago,
yes.
I'll be protected. What,
Right.
what are you talking about? It's just like Doc said.
Hmm.
You haven't been caught or indicted on a crime yet.
Not yet.
And and it's just like a pardon. People don't understand what a pardon is. A pardon is being exonerated for a conviction,
Exactly.
not
You haven't been
well,
convicted
he
yet.
could
How do you
have,
get that?
well, he may have, or if he does, or if they find something from. Hold on, what common sense?
But
And
but
it comes
that's
back to her husband being involved in fraud. She's
Yes.
going to be implicated because what they're going to find out is that she was feeding him information and he was feeding information to these other people he was working with, and they enriched themselves. That's why they got the $30 million.
but
And
then
now
too,
that's the espionage, which she could be charged with if that's
and
what.
then too, just like when they stopped that budget and she had $1 million in there for the month for a place that didn't even exist. So I mean, all of that.
The
And when
wine,
she- yeah. Then when she started talking, not the winery. This is something else.
No, it's
This,
something totally different.
this was like for a substance abuse or something that she had $1 million in there, and they stopped the budget and took the money out. So
Mhm.
that already, Garm, actually shows you that she was part of this plan to defraud the government with these fake schools and these learning centers, not learning, but learning centers. So
I always
They-
wonder how long was it like that before somebody actually took notice? Because even when Nick Shirley was filming it, it didn't get noticed for like a month. Because I didn't even notice it because I
Little
was
bit
paying more
longer than
attention
that.
on what he was talking about. So I'm like, how long had it been that way?
well,
That it
year.
was misspelled. It had probably been that way for years.
I know.
Nobody
if I'm
looked.
not mistaken, I think didn't Nick Shirley have a whistleblower get a hold of him?
Yes,
Mhm.
And
that's
he-
what brought him to Minnesota. That's
Yeah,
what brought him to
and-
Minnesota
And this guy knew that this has been going on
Yes.
for quite some time.
For a-
So,
for a
it just
long
took-
time.
yep.
Well, and you know what? The criminal charges there too, because there's a couple of murders involved with this whole fraud thing. There was I think it was a senator and a representative who got killed. Their husband and wife were killed because she said that she was going to tell about the fraud, and they went and killed her and her husband.
Yep.
And the killer, the shooter, said that he was hired by Tim Walz.
Right. And he still ain't in jail. The guy that did it.
It's something. But they've been quiet about it. And to the American people and patriots across this country, when they get quiet and these things are deflecting off this and deflecting off that, then you really have to wonder what's going on, because now everybody's thing is at a standstill. Hillary Clinton made a fool out of herself over there in Munich.
Can I give
that was a debacle.
Can I give you a quote from Hillary Clinton?
Go ahead, Hillary.
Her latest interview on, who's it with that Joe Scarborough dude?
Okay.
He looks like some character off of Sesame Street. She was on there and she was babbling away. They were talking about something, and she brought up, she said something about, we haven't gotten to a perfect union. The idea to turn the clock back to a perfect world that never was, because of being dominated by, let's say it, white men with certain persuasion, certain religion, certain points of views, and certain ideologies. So what you got is Clinton right back here again. And I think they're putting her up there because I think maybe she's going to try to run for president again.
That ain't
she is. No, she's positioning herself because this is the same thing she did before. She's doing the same thing she did when she ran against Barack. She's doing the same thing she did when she ran against Trump. She is positioning herself because she has no business being in Munich, even if she was previous Secretary of State.
And she's bringing up those evil white guys with.
Now, let me tell you about that. Let me
translate. Is all they have. You are not evil, Mr. Binky. I'm sorry.
Listen.
Come on, now there goes my image.
Make you suspect.
My image is gone.
You are
now.
not evil. You are
But
not
you know
evil.
what?
Stop.
Let me translate to the American people and patriots what she's actually saying. What she's actually saying is that we, with the LGBTWXYZ, Miss Hillary Clinton been over there on Epstein Island and still going. Bill got a problem with little girl and little boys, and they all have done these unnatural things. So basically what Hillary is saying, that Joe made sure that we could have this third gender of people. We have got our name everywhere in the history books. We done pushed it through the schools. We done made the American people accept us sodomites and the homosexual that we brought. We forced them because we forced it on their children, sex change operations, DEI. Now, all of that stuff finna go to hell because of the evil white men want to get back to the place where God is still in this country and marriage between a man and a woman. That's what she's saying, because the only thing she is pushing is the gay, lesbian, LGBT agenda. Your thoughts on that, Doc?
Yeah. And it's interesting because they always try to use white men like these white men. I'm like, first of all, my third great grandfather was a pure white Irishman. His name was William Newbill. They called him Willie. Okay. Without him, I'm not here. All right. Let's just keep that a buck. Everybody is evil. No one is good. Okay.
Exactly.
So to blame men, and men are supposed to lead. It's God, man, woman, children. That is the hierarchy. When you start doing things outside of the hierarchy, that's why we're in this mess. Stop that.
Exactly.
We need white men, black men, Asian men. We need all of our men, not these people that are light in loafers, lying. Okay?
Exactly.
Pretending to be men. We need real men.
And you know, guys, that's what the real problem is. This has always been a Sodom and Gomorrah type thing. They have been positioning themselves. Like I said on other shows, this is a spiritual war. And the American people and patriots have opened their eyes to see that's what this is. This is why we're experiencing this. This is our disobedient because of God in Christ. That's what this is. We're suffering like this because of our disobedience, because we haven't followed the teachings of Christ. We haven't honored God with the things that we do. We have not done that. And this country used to be like that. When the prayer was in the school, and at the courthouse, it was the 10 Commandments that was on the wall in the courtrooms. I mean, the whole ideology of marriage between a man and a woman, and children were subject to their parents. All of the things that had made this country really a great country got diverted, it got pushed away, and this new abnormal lifestyle with the LGBTQ is what has been forced down our throats, and they mad as hell right now because they've been exposed. Now they can't vote. It was Jesse Jackson who brought the LGBT to the Democratic Party.
Yeah,
Now-
it's about decency. And that's the one thing that's been lost in this country. I know a lot of people say, we're not a theocracy. You're right, we are not. But the principles is
Yes.
what makes us a decent society.
Yes, it is.
And we have decency. And there are people who have gotten to the point where like, we're going to be completely indecent. Because I talked about Rachel this morning, encouraging people to chop themselves up to be happy. Okay.
Yes.
Rachel is a man. Okay. Rachel is not a woman. Rachel is a man, talking about you're the first woman to lead and be health secretary. You're a man. You still have the equipment, sir. Calling
And the
yourself
sad thing
Rachel.
of it is
But
too-
that's what we were living through. That
Yes,
that
yes.
degenerate mindset.
Yes.
It needs to stop.
I got one for you.
Go ahead, Bing.
A politician in Kansas who happens to be a transgender was
Oh,
up
that
there.
man.
Yeah, I can't remember what its name is.
But I know who you're talking about. Hmm.
He was up there talking about a transgender bill and evil white men, I guess. I'll say it that way. But he
And
put
he's a white man.
yeah, and he put in there at the end of his little speech, or part of his little speech there, he says, this bill is blaming women for the bad behavior of men. Now, this was a transgender guy that was trying to. I'm assuming it was a bill for the transgender men to be in the women's showers and bathrooms and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
and he was arguing this, and then he ends up saying this is blaming women for the bad behavior of men. This is the
Yeah.
mentality here of people.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But see, we have free will, and Satan knows that.
Yes.
And because Satan knows we have free will, it's like, okay, if you sign over to this evil, which is a social contagion mind virus, right? If you sign over to this evil, you are giving up your free will. You are giving up your position. We're not giving up our position. Okay. You cannot be born Bob and then say, well, I'm Susan now, and so I need my voter ID. Bob's got to show up to vote.
Now, let
We
me tell
heard
you.
all these transgender things walking around the planet. If you don't show up with your name, Bob, because that's what's on your birth certificate, we're not changing your birth certificate. You're not going to be able to vote
But states are
because you
doing
got to
that.
match. You got to match.
Exactly. You got to
That's
match.
the
Now,
other reason why they're mad, but they're not
listen to this,
talking about
guys.
that part.
I want you to listen to me closely. Doc,
All right.
you said free will, okay?
Yes.
Now, God did give us free will to choose,
Yes.
right? And
Yep,
so
absolutely.
our free will have been captured by deception.
Oh yeah.
So when you say we do have free will, but Satan is not playing by the rules. He's doing whatever that he can to lie to you, to deceive you, to make you think that things ain't like this, that God is not in control when it's God who even allows Satan to even wake up or exist. Okay? So the free will that we have, these are some of the things that Satan did to steal your free will. He lied to you, and he told you that it was okay to be a homosexual, that the Bible is not what it should be. He deceived you in such a way that he tell you that you can do these things and there will be no repercussion for them, because when God forgive you, it's all over with. He used so many other things. He also, how it's abnormal to us, because when you take away the playing field, he thought he took away God's playing field by saying, okay, well, we're going to take prayer out the schools. We're going to stop prayer before games. We're going to do all of these things. And those who don't have a spiritual foundation is who he's using. If you don't have a spiritual foundation or relationship with God, you don't have free will because you're manipulated by all the physical things that you think that you need to exist on the earth. So the free will is no longer in place. If you don't have a relationship with God in Christ, you don't have free will. And so when people don't know about the relationship with God in Christ and you think you got free will, you don't, because Christ set us free from the sin.
Gotcha.
And once you know better, you're supposed to do better. But how he did it was he made sure that you don't know about Christ. He made sure that our children in the streets don't know about what Jesus did. They don't have a relationship. And that's how he think he's winning. And that's why so many souls are being lost, is because they don't have a personal relationship with God. Now, guys, I got to move on. I don't want to start preaching it here on Friday.
Get you up in here talking about the Lord.
But I want to say this. I want to send a shout out to Miss Alice Johnson. She was honored this last night, I believe, out in Washington, D.C. for Black History Month. Some of our other leaders out there, Kwame Kilpatrick.
Yeah, I saw him. I saw him while I was out there.
Yeah, and he was out there, and so Kwame is he's taking our message to Miss Johnson. They're meeting about the '94 crime bill, folks. I can tell you, there would be a great day in America when all these Black men and women who have been incarcerated because of this '94 crime bill that never should have happened. Now you got those who voted for that bill, like Bobby Rush, crying about, I wish I'd never voted for it. And people like Jesse Jackson, who voted for the bill, now saying they wish they never did it because it targeted the Black community, it targeted Black men, and it has caused a very, very huge rift in the Black community with all our men being locked up. Our women don't have men to protect them. So it's some good things that come out of it. But I want to say this before I play this clip. To all of my colleagues, to all the pastors across the country, to all the Black leaders who attended this event, work without faith is dead, and vice versa. Because if you come out of here and you don't get into the Black community, and you don't educate the Black community from being at an event like this, if you don't come and fight for the Black community, what was the purpose of going? What's the purpose of going? If this event was just a good old time party and the Black condition is in the condition it's in, and you had an opportunity to be there with President Trump, you should have been talking about the Platinum Plan. You should have been talking about how do we open up the prisons and get all these Black men out of here, because you open up the prison for J6. So why not? Both situations were bad. So why not open up these prisons off that '94 crime bill and send these Black men home just like you did the January 6th? So you Black leaders who are in this event, if you're not talking to the president about the way that we can better the Black community, what the hell are you there for?
Clout chasing. Come on now.
What are you there for?
Somebody that went to the event, they were like, they ain't nothing but clout chasers.
That's all. Seeing who they
and social media influencers talking about, well, I'm here, y'all. Here to do what?
Was Al Sharpton
Here
there?
to make what changes?
Oh, he wasn't there.
I didn't get to go to the actual event. I just talked to some people that were present at the event, and they felt the same way. They really
and I'm
did.
not saying if you at this event and you don't have an agenda to better the Black community, if you didn't, because see, I didn't go because one, the timing, and then I didn't get the invite. But then later on, a friend of mine, Kevin McGarry, called me and said, man, I could have got you in. Had I known ahead of time, I would have went. and I would have went with the agenda that I gave Kwame to take. I would have been talking about that crime. I said, Mr. President, can I talk to you for a minute? We need to get the crime bill in place. We need to get all them brothers out of jail. That's what somebody should have been saying. But if you went just to be said I was there, then what purpose are you serving?
But see, there's another layer to this, that what we're not talking about. Now, they've been in there for a year, right? And they were given the directive to go to a particular individual who's the gatekeeper. The question is the gatekeeper keeping the gate to the point where nothing's getting done for the Black community? That's the question.
Then we need to be find out, because
just because you pull the president over to the side, he doesn't keep his agenda, and he will direct you to speak to somebody else. We need, and I know who this person is, so I'm not putting anybody on blast, and I will say this is allegedly, right? Because we know what happened to Alice. Alice was put in the position that she's in because the president said, I want her here.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but we need to really think about who are the gatekeepers really keeping that information to the president or from the president, because nothing's happened, right?
Well,
we need reform.
We need reform. And the sad thing of it is that you know them by their fruit. You know, you're going to know them by their fruit. And we know the Black politicians by their fruit, which is sour because they haven't did nothing and it's not reflecting in the Black community. That's what I keep saying. Yeah. See, a lot of people was like, oh, Pastor, you was brutal on Jesse Jackson. First of all, I gave Reverend Jackson his props because he did do something like open doors for Black people to get to positions in the government, in politics. He opened those kind of doors. But the problem that I had was he became such a celebrity pastor, he forgot about Pookie and Ray Ray down on 47th Street and State. He forgot about all the Black men that's being locked up under the RICO Act and the crime bill. He forgot about all of that. Because just like what I'm doing now, pushing this legislation, Jesse could have said, you know what? We want that legislation now, and we want to get those Black men out of prison now. Him and all the other pastors now, and a lot of them sitting out here at this event should have already been crying and whining and saying, Mr. President, we need to fix the Black community. This is what the agenda is. This is what we need. But what you say they were doing, Doc, out there?
Cloud chasing and being influencers.
You know them by their fruit. You know them by their fruit.
Where's the legislation? Because no one was talking about that. But again, I was not in the room. But from the feedback that I got from the people that were in the room, none of this is happening. Nobody's doing the work. Everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to be seen. But nobody wants to do what I had a saying when I was running for president. I said, yeah, everybody wants to be up there, but nobody wants to be responsible.
Well, like I said, you know, and maybe it wasn't good for me to go out there because I'm telling you, I would.
You'd have been smacking.
I've been telling them Negroes, look here, man, sit down somewhere. You know, we need to be moving because there's so many things in the Black community that need to be fixed from bad leadership.
Yeah.
And you just there for a photo op. Come on, man. Let's check this out.
Law and order. We need law and order. You know, Washington, D.C. is amazing. It was a crime capital. It was a horror show. A year ago, it was really dangerous, and now it's one of the safest cities anywhere in the country. And we're in Memphis, Tennessee now, where it's like a different world. In 4 months, we've made it safe. We're in Louisiana, you know, lots of other places, and we have the lowest crime numbers that we've had in many years. We have the lowest murder numbers in 125 years since 1900.
Yeah, there's Angela over
and
there.
that's
I see her.
Despite the fact that a lot of people are here, but those people have been taken out. Lots of them have been taken out. That's why we stopped the invasion at the southern border. And just 1 year ago, and think of this, 1 year ago, we had the absolute worst border that we've ever had, and now we have the safest border that we've ever had. So it's going to be really something. 125 years ago, that's before my father was born. I had a wonderful father. but that was before. So we have murders are down from 125 years. We had the best numbers. When you think about it, that's pretty incredible. And those numbers are made up by Democrats. Can you believe it? They don't want to give me those numbers. They can add a couple of people here and there. But I've also deployed the National Guard to bring back safety to Memphis and to New Orleans and Washington. And the National Guard has been incredible, and people are safe. In the case of Washington, the restaurants were all closing up. People were getting really badly hurt and killed, frankly, many people killed. And now you can walk down the street and you have nothing to fear. We have one of the safest cities in the world, and it happened very fast, Bruce. One of those who knows the importance of this mission is Felicia Cook, a lifelong Washingtonian who tragically lost her grandson to violence in 2017. Felicia, we're so sorry, and you are a spectacular person. If you could say a few words, please. Thank you very much. Yes, come on. Oh, yeah. Oh, help her up.
She took you by storm.
Come on.
To the American people and patriots across this country, this is not a racist. Thank you. This shows the president.
I like her. Please.
I like him too. One thing I like about him, he keeps it real, just like Grandma. I appreciate that because I can trust him because he tells exactly how he feels and what he thinks. Thank God for this president. I am filled, my cup runneth over, because he allowed his constituents, his people, to come to my house to interview me, to talk about the murder of my grandson. It seemed like nobody cared. I'm an advocate for murder. I marched, I rallied, I pulled out other families in the District of Columbia that had murders and did not have answers.
That's right.
Ooh. We marched and we rallied, and nobody heard me, Democrats. Get mad at me. Until this Republican sent his constituents, his people out there to interview me in my home. Have you ever heard of a thing? Then they invited me twice before Congress to testify for the beautiful bill that's going to change crime in the district. If you kill somebody, okay, you take a life, you do life. Just that simple. If you do a hush crime, you do hush time. Just that simple. And then we need National Guard, and which we did years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He brought it on. I love him. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say about that racist stuff. And don't be looking at me on the news hating on me because I'm standing up for somebody that deserves to be standing up for. Get off the man's back. Let him do his job. He's doing the right thing. Back up off him.
Oh, look, she came. That's Auntie right there. That's Auntie right there. I will knock you upside the head if you mess with this one. Okay? I wish you would. He's acting right.
Don't mess with that, Grandma.
Look, that's Auntie. That ain't Grandma. That's Auntie.
Ah, okay.
That's Auntie. Auntie will smack you around. Grandma gonna talk to you nice.
That's pretty good. When is she
gonna
running
smack you
for
around.
office? Felicia, when are you running for office, please? You
That's
have my
right?
endorsement. You have my endorsement, Felicia. Thank you, darling.
She should run for mayor. Run for mayor of DC and get it
it's from the
cleaned
heart.
up. I'm just saying, she got some fire in her.
All
Why
right,
not?
guys. Your last thought. So Trump is a racist. What do you think about that? We gonna get out of
He's
it.
not a racist. And I'm constantly asked, like, are you a Trump supporter? I am not a Trump supporter. What I do is I support the seat of the presidency because it rotates multiple times through multiple people. I respect the policies that the president has put forward to benefit the people of this country, right? Within the Black community and outside of the Black community. He is doing the best that he can with what he has and with whom he is working. Okay.
Mr.
I
Binky?
respect what he's doing.
Mr. Binky?
Just going off of her emotions right there.
Yes.
Like she said, it wasn't a Democrat. It's not about Republican. It was about him being him. It was his policies, his actions. And like Doc said, she needs to be running for mayor. I mean,
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
she was pretty pumped up there and said what she had to say.
Well, guys, for me, it's very heartfelt because you see a mother that has lost a child that has a platform. See, the Democratic Party would never allow her to have a platform because she said some key things. She said, I've been to the Democrats, I done march, I've been to the preachers, I've been to all of these people, all right, black people, and nobody give a damn.
Nope.
And that's what
But this man.
But this
But this guy.
But that's the reason why, to the American people and patriots across this country, especially the black citizens, what we just saw was genuine. It was real.
Yeah.
And we have to stop allowing the Democratic Party to call this man a racist when they are the ones who are the true racists.
Yeah.
So it has to end. Black people, we got to wake up, because a closed mouth can't get fed. We can't get nothing if we don't ask for nothing. And through the black leadership, some of them same Negroes sitting in there having a good time, but when they get back home as Republicans, they'll be making the side deals with the damn Democrats to put some more money in their pocket. Because if all of those black leaders, Democratic and Republicans, were doing their job, do you think that our world would be in this condition? Mr. Binky, your last words on that thought and get out of here. What you think?
Well, you know, for a long time, everybody on this show has been talking about the problems that we have and stuff. Principles don't come with color. You know, I'm working with a group that's wanting to fix the problems that we've been talking about and stuff. And if you want to go check them out, they're called tollandroll.com, and we've been discussing everything that they've been discussing for years. And as I've always said, we've got to unite together. I don't care what race, what color, whatever. You know, if you want to fix the problem, we've got to do it together. Everybody that I listen to on your program here, I couldn't agree more with, and I've learned so much from them. And that's what this show is supposed to be about. So if you want to be part of fixing the problem, stay on this show and go to tollandroll.com and check out what they're doing too. Because we got to fix the problem if we're going to be around here to have a country left.
Right.
Doc?
Absolutely. And thank you for that, Steve. Yeah. Like I said, I didn't get into the Black History Month event, but I think that was for purpose. And God had another plan for me, and I'll be sharing that with Pastor David later. Just what I was up there doing in Washington, D.C. But remember, we are the USA Redemption Party here, located in Georgia, but all over the country. So if you know somebody who wants to run for office and they do not want to run as a Republican or a Democrat, we are here because we are looking for servants of the people. You can check us out at usaredemptionparty.com. That is usaredemptionparty.com.
Doc, I'll see you guys. We'll talk later. Mr. Binky, it was always a pleasure. We're going to do something Monday. I got a candidate, Denise Long, who will be in the studio with us.
Yes.
She's running for the U.S. Senate and Dick Durbin seat. And we're going to have that sister in here talking about what she planned to do when she wins that seat. God bless you guys. Love you. I'll be talking to you soon, brother. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the show. Like I said, first of all, I want folks to continue to go to Let the Truth Be Told, lightcast.com. That's our station. We have a full station, the same type of platform that Netflix has and Prime and all the other television stations have. We got that platform. And I'm asking people to go watch the show there because we have such a problem when we put great news out and we put receipts out on about certain people that the social media platform tend to stop the show from being delivered to the groups and all that kind of stuff. So I'm asking people to go to letthetruthbetold.lightcast.com. You can watch us there live from our own television platform, as well as watch some of the old shows and educate your mind. And that's what this is about. These are my last words. to the American people and patriots across this country, especially black citizens. As we go into the next 3 years of President Trump leadership, I'm telling black people that what we've seen from the Democratic Party and what they've done and how they've lied, cheated, and stole, and all the corruption that we see in Minnesota, Illinois, California, Maine, San Francisco, all across the country. The Democratic Party has used this system to destroy America, to try to make us think that we need to be controlled by the federal government. The Democratic Party has been the party that hate the American way of life, and it showed. So to the American people and patriots across this country, we got midterms coming up. And I'm not talking about going out just pulling the lever, especially the black people. I'm not talking about you going out there saying, oh, my grandmama did it, or my auntie did it. Those aren't the times anymore. The black community is on its last legs. We are in dire straits. We need to be trying to figure out how we can create our economics, how that we can pull our families back together, how we can save and educate our children and stop the crime. We need to be worried about how we can take control of our families and rebuild them. And what we just saw was authentic. It touched me because we have so many mothers, black mothers, sisters and brothers whose children have been lost to violence and crime, black on black crime. It's time. If the black community is going to survive, I'm telling you, to the educated Negroes, to Pookie and Ray Ray on the corner, if we don't retrain ourselves and re-educate ourselves and we start looking for ways to better the black community, it's surely gonna die. And that's why I'm telling black folks, we got a chance under President Trump. Let's take this opportunity. Let's take the things that he's gonna offer to help us so we can make this country great again. God bless you. You guys have a good weekend. And remember, God is still on control, and you know them by their fruit. God bless you.